Hi, my name is Dave Carson, and I'm a student at Quarterbend Guitar Studio in Lancaster, PA. And our instructor, Eric Dieter, asked us as students if we wouldn't mind making some short instructional videos of some concept or technique or skill that we were working on or learning. So I decided to do that. And one of the songs I'm learning currently is Heart of Gold by Neil Young, and it has a little strumming technique in it called a percussive hit. And what it is, it's an enhancement to your strum, your standard strumming, that gives it a little bit more interest, and it sounds like a snare drum almost. It gives it a percussion aspect. So if you're playing by yourself or at a party or a campfire or whatever, and you want to add a little extra something, this is a nice little technique to have in your back pocket. And what it is, it's like a snare drum, as I said, that you can get this effect. And the way I learned it is looking on the internet and finding a couple sources. It's explained a couple different ways. One way I saw it just uses your right hand to create this sound. The other way is involving both hands and deadening the strings in your fretting hand. I decided to try to just focus on trying to learn it with my right hand. So what I'm going to show you is how to do it that way. And if you want to later on try to investigate and find the other component with your left hand, feel free to do so. The way I learned this was it is broken down into two different movements. The first movement is just the strumming motion and hitting the strings with your hand as you're strumming. And what it is as your hand hits those strings, the strings are bouncing off the metal frets, and you can hear it. It gives that snare drum sound, you might say. So the first thing I did was just try to get used to doing that and get that sort of movement, that feel of hitting the strings. That you want to hit the strings with the back edge of your palm here, right along that flat surface. And about at this area right here where the sound hole edge is. If you get too far back in here, it doesn't do enough. If you get too far up into the sound hole, then you'll be strumming on the first few frets there. So just right in here, like that, get the feel of that. And then after you've worked on that, and the way I did it is I just spent one day for maybe 10 minutes doing that. Then the next day, I took my pick. And what they instructed me to do is to do that and then rake across the strings. Hit, scrape, hit, scrape, hit, strum. And just keep doing that until you get comfortable with that. And if you hear the strings ring out like you have a few times here, that means you're not hitting squarely on all six, or in some way you're not deadening all the strings. So you want to get down there, good amount of pressure, hit the strings with your pick, scrape across. You only have to do about the top 3 or 4 strings. But you want to learn as you do that to sort of follow through to the base of the strings, because as you use this in the strumming motion, you'll be doing up strums, and those up strums, happen after the percussive hit. So get used to that in 2 parts: hit, strum, and eventually sort of shorten that time between the hits and the strums and tighten that up until at some point you're just about doing it all in one motion. See what I'm doing? And if you hear the strings ring out, you know you're not hitting it exactly right. Okay, so then after a day or so of doing that, you want to try to incorporate your strumming into the mix here. And the way I first learned how to do this, and by no means have I perfected this yet. I think guitar is always a learning process. You're always learning and continuing to learn. So I haven't perfected this yet. In fact, doing the down, up, eighth note, down, up strums is still something I'm working on. But the way I started off was just with 4 down strums, 4 beats, and on beats 2 and 4, tried to incorporate this. So it kind of goes like this. So as you get better and better at that, and get a good rhythm going, and make sure you're not ringing out any strings when you do the hit, then you want to go to the eighth note down up, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. And at that point, you're going to be using the up strum. So you're going to be going down, up, hit, up, down, up, hit, up, down, up, hit, up, down, up, hit, up, down, up, hit. And you can finally build that up to even 16th notes if you wanted to. I haven't gotten there yet. So I hope you found this information helpful. I hope you found it to be something that you might incorporate into your strumming. And a happy journey on your guitar. Take care. Bye now.